All right.
Okay, that's it. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Misty, you have the floor.
Whoa, that fast. I love it. All right. Politics has nothing on this matchup of the century today. I will tell you guys. Who is going to be victorious? We don't know. I know. I wish I had some music that I could play
We can
to help get us started. Today, we are in the battle that will be heard all around the accountant community.
All around the cloud. It's going to be heard all around the cloud.
Thank you. Team versus Slack. On this screen or somewhere to your right or left, representing teams is the organizer of all tangled cords, Fear, the teacher of technology, the founder of too many businesses and groups to count. He is dynamic, intelligent, and oh yes, nerdy. Give it up for the vendor sync chief squirrel catcher at Business Solutions, Matthew Fulton.
You know, Seth, I haven't had breakfast yet.
Me neither.
Neither have I.
I'm like, that's it. We're just doing it on sleep, y'all. But ladies and gentlemen, can he be matched by the ultimate nerd? On the opposite screen, up, down, right, left, who knows where he's on yours. Representing Slack, he eats education videos for breakfast and follows them with a sensible technology shake for dinner. He is resourceful, wise, and witty. Give it up for the Nerd Enterprises, Seth David.
Yeah!
I'm going to ask you for a serious, not so serious moment to erase your bias of what you may currently use and which way you may currently lean. This is really about who can present the best case and make you feel like, that is the solution for me. It is the battle of the wits. They each get 20 minutes to win you over to believe that their platform is the one for you and a match made in heaven. Slack or Teams? Teams or Slack? After they get 20 minutes, they will have a 5-minute rebuttal for each, and then it will be voting time. Seth has put in Airtable, a link for Airtable for the voting, so make sure you take advantage of that after you see both sides. And are we ready, contenders?
Yeah, we're having technical difficulties. I can't go live on my Facebook page now, Matthew. It's not letting me. So I don't know if that's because of some of the settings you were looking at or.
I didn't change anything.
So, because when I go to
sabotage already.
When I click to go live, it says error starting broadcast. So we may just have to keep this private, only for those who registered. We're not even going to get to go live.
You can put the recording on.
Yeah, the recording will go up later, of course. But
try refreshing your Facebook page.
I only just went on the Facebook page now. Let's refresh.
And I'll say hi, Gina. Hi, Fran.
Yeah, let's see who we got.
Gina, Deborah, Linda. Good morning to everyone. We got the ladies representing. Oh, there's Andy. What's up?
All right.
Congratulations, by the way, to all of the top 100 pro advisors that were just announced this morning.
Yes, I saw that. I haven't gotten to read the list, but shout out to the 100.
Yeah, no, it's not letting me go live on Facebook for some reason. So I don't have time. I probably have to clear my cache or something, and that's not going to happen.
All right. Well, since we can't shake hands, you guys, I would like you guys to screen high five. Oh, it was brutal already. It's a takedown, y'all. It's a takedown. I am putting 20 minutes on the clock.
You're going to time me?
For you, Seth David.
Because, you know, Matthew cries hard if I don't leave this time for him.
Matthew?
I don't need the whole 20 minutes.
I feel like for 20 minutes, I should have you sit like this so we can see that you are not adjusting your slides.
I'm not using slides. I'm using real life.
I'm just going to trust that you are you are prepared and you know what you're going to say.
We don't do slides here.
All right.
We do
awesome.
real live demos.
Real live demos. I love it. All righty?
All
there
right.
you go. The floor is yours, Seth.
All right. Thank you. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's August 14th, 2020. And we're here to talk about Slack. And that's it. That's all there is to talk about. No, joking aside, when I look at tools like these, I break them down based on, a basic kind of set of criteria. And we're talking about communications apps. And what we're also talking about is data, right? So at the end of the day, maybe I should say at the end of the data, I need to be able to do the following with the app that I'm using for this purpose. And that is organize, categorize, and easily reference that data and that information. That's what counts for me. I want a communications app that lets me quickly get in, do what I need to do, and get out, right? And the reference part comes up after the fact, where I need to easily reference that data when I'm looking for something. It's important that I can find it quickly, succinctly, and without delay, right? My golden rule internally is if I can't find something in 30 seconds or less, no matter how long it's been, then it's not organized and that needs to be fixed, right? Mm-hmm. That's my rule. I need to be able to find it that quickly. So again, like any app these days, we're working with data, and it's three basic things: organize, categorize, and easily reference. One thing I like about Slack is that I can easily jump between workspaces, right? So when I go into Slack, and of course I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and so here's a Slack workspace that I created, kind of playing around Teams versus Slack, right? And I can jump easily between workspaces. In other words, organizations. What you'll notice is in the app, and I say this every time I know I'm talking to somebody who's new at working with Slack, you do not work with Slack in the browser. It's not designed to work that way. When you first set up a Slack workspace or first join one, it's going to launch a browser tab. But you are in no way meant to stay in that browser tab. You need to install the app and get into the Slack app. Now, you'll notice on the left-hand side here, I've got all my organizations here, and I've got nice visual cues so I know which is which, right? But the thing is, I don't even need that. When I'm trying to jump, let's say, so I'm in Teams versus Slack. Let's say I want to go into the 97 and up workspace. Control K, I start typing 97. That's enough for it to come up. I hit enter, and in like 3 keystrokes, I'm in the 97 and up workspace. It is so easy to switch between organizations, right? Control K also lets me jump. You can see I'm in a chat here with Matthew, right? A direct message, which is the same thing as a chat. I can jump over to Greg Cullup also with Control K. And I can also jump Control K right over to the general channel. So it's very easy for me to navigate around with Slack using the jump command, which again is Control K, right? So I like this because I can get in there, and it's interesting because what sparked this whole event today was Matthew logging into his Slack workspace, and he did a video where what can happen is, let's say I have another Slack a workspace that I want to add on to this, right? I can hit this plus sign, and I can either create a workspace or I can sign into another one. And if I choose this option, Slack is going to email me a link, which when I click on it, will give me a list. If I choose to, I enter my email address, and it's going to give me a list of every workspace that's associated with my email address. So what Matthew described as a weakness, I think is actually a strength, because it makes it very easy for me to find and access all the workspaces that I belong to, but I don't have to be logged into all of them all the time. And I can distinguish from one device to the next which ones I'm logged into. So for example, this computer that I'm using today has every Slack space that's, that's critical, that's important, all the ones that I'm active in every day, all the clients that I'm active with and workspaces that I'm in for other purposes. This is an Intuit related workspace that I'm in. I don't own it. So any organization can invite me into a Slack workspace and I can access it here. I can invite any other organization into a workspace that I've created and access it here. It's all here in one place, really easy to reference these different Slack workspaces, right? So coming under the heading of organize, categorize, and easily reference, boom, I'm in. It's very, very easy to find my way around, right? And by the way, I did do some research on Teams for this, because I have a client who invited me into Teams, and I'm in their workspace. And when I wanted to create my own Teams organization, what I found was that in their desktop app, I had to log out of their organization and log into mine. And in my research, I found this article on Microsoft's website, which confirms that as of May 20th, this hasn't changed. Right? It says here, we agree this is a great fix. The question was, I'm working in 2 organizations, and therefore I have to either constantly switch accounts or log into one by browser. In other words, you can't be in 2 organizations in the desktop app at the same time with Teams. To me, that alone is almost enough to be a deal breaker. I hope Matthew will prove me wrong later today. So, again, and by contrast with Slack, in a second I can what do you call it? I can request that link and quickly get logged in. And by the way, once I'm logged in, I'm logged in. It's all here. I can close this. I can restart my computer. I fire up Slack. It's all here. It's not like I have to go re-log into those workspaces every single time. No, it stays. It's here. That doesn't change. And the mobile app, by the way, works just as well. The mobile app is actually a little more seamless. The mobile app, I have an option where it will just ping me right into every single Slack workspace. So I don't have to sit there on a smaller screen, such as what I'm dealing with in a mobile app, to to access this stuff. Okay, so to me, that process makes it easier for me, not harder, because especially when I'm looking at that list that Slack presents me, I can quickly, if I know what I'm looking for, and I usually do, I can use the browser search, Control F, to find by the first few letters of that workspace the one I want to log into. There's a launch button, I click on it, and boom, I'm right in, right? And so just so you can see what this looks like really quickly, sign into another workspace, right? Takes me here. It already shows me the ones I'm logged into based on the current app, what I'm signed into. Don't know your workspace URL? Find your workspaces. I'll just use the continue with Google option since it's a little faster. Now it shows the ones I'm logged into. Notice I have 78 more workspaces that I'm logged into. Not Control K in this case, Control F. Even if I choose 97, you see how quickly I can find it and launch it. I'm already logged into this one, but if I'm not and I click launch, it will launch the dialog in the browser that when I click on it will launch the app, and boom, I'm in like 2 seconds. So it makes it very easy for me actually to find and access workspaces. Plus, if I'm concerned that this is going to get cluttered up with too many, I can easily log out of workspaces knowing that there's a very easy way to get back into them. Also notice when I press my Control K, or rather, if I go up to the top here, and I'm scrolling the actual workspaces on my left, when I press my Control key, is it Control? Okay, if I press Control 2, see what happens? So the first 10 of these are numbered. So that's another quick way to navigate between workspaces. If I want to go to that MC one, which is a sample Slack workspace, MC stands for my client. Control and the number 1 gets me right into there. And again, Control K, and I can go into banking and so on, right? So navigating Slack, very, very, very important to me to be able to get around quickly, because again, it goes back to being able to organize, categorize, and most importantly, easily reference information. Right, so if I go Control K, back up to Teams, right, notice I have actually a channel in here under my client called Teams versus Slack. So when you're doing the search, the hashtag lets you know what kind of a thing it is that you're jumping to. So when I start typing Teams, I want this one. It's got the little icon in there, not the hashtag. So hashtag always denotes a channel in Slack, okay? So navigation, very, very important to me. Next, I'm going to show you 97 and up, and how we've got that organized. Organizing channels, right? On the left, you'll see my channels. But what you'll also notice is I have these grouped. So I have a marketing section, okay? I have a strategies section over here. So I'm able to regroup my channels. And by the way, this is user specific, which is nice because it lets me organize my channels the way I want, and Greg can organize his channels the way he wants. All I have to do is create a new section here to create one of the new sections. And I can move this, let's say COVID-19, really I want under the accounting group because that's where we talk about accounting related to COVID-19, right? So let's go into details and more. Okay, and I'm going to rename the channel because I have also built an organized process around this where I use the prefix of ACCTG. I'll rename the channel. Okay, and now I'll just click and drag the channel over to where the accounting section is. Okay, and it drops it right in. Notice it sorts it right away because each of these sections now can also be sorted either based on recent activity, alphabetically, or by priority, right? So again, organized and categorized for the purposes of being able to easily reference the information. Very, very important. Okay, let's take a look at something else that I love about Slack. Control G will bring up the search dialog. It's similar to the jump. And notice it has the recent searches. So I'm going to choose the recent search. Let's say I want to find information in my Slack workspace about PPP loans. Okay, so the first thing it does is it gives me a list of all the messages. There are 308 of them, you know, and it highlights where the results are coming from, you know, why it came up with PPP. Now this is cool. On the right, what's also cool is I can filter it, right, by the person whose messages are in the results. I can also filter it by what channel it's shared in. Like most of this stuff should be in the COVID-19 channel. I might even want to use this to identify channels where it's being discussed where maybe it doesn't belong, just so I can remind people, hey, we have a COVID-19 channel, right? So that kind of thing is really important to me because that helps me better organize the data. Because really what I want to make sure of is that later on people can easily search for something and find it in its appropriate place. Plus, I can go to these messages and easily reshare them into the channel where I feel it belongs, okay? Check this out. In files, look at this, especially for a search like PPP at a time like now, it brings up all the files that have been uploaded, including some of Matthew's own with the different calculators and loan forgiveness things, you know, that we have access to right here in Slack. But what I love best, because this next one is almost, to me, it's a bit off the beaten path, but it's so cool that I can do this, is I can see who are the people who are talking about PPP in my Slack workspace. And I can click on this link where it says talks about PPP, and it will basically go to that filter in the message search that shows me all of Josh's messages about PPP. Okay? So again, search, really, really powerful, really, really great way for the purposes of referencing the information that I've organized and categorized. Okay? And so, and another thing, I can also add on to this search criteria, right? And I could say between, let me see how this works again, because sometimes I get this screwed up. Or no, not between, during, and see as I type during, it gives me some of the quick ones. So I could say during August. So I can see Josh's posts about PPP during the month of August. In this case, there are none. Josh hasn't talked about PPP. So let me see if Jesse has. Yeah, Jesse has mentioned PPP a few times during the month of August, right? So Slack has really, really powerful search that makes it easy for me to find what I'm looking for. It's not like I have to sit there going through each channel and saying, well, they talk about it here. You know, it's not brain dead. It's super, super efficient. I can even search. This is kind of fun, right? But I can search for an emoji reaction. Let me switch over to Teams, because I think I had a good example of this in here. Or maybe not. Let's go back to 97 and up. Where did it go? All right. If I do angry, I can't type this morning, apparently. So I can search for messages that have the angry emoji, right? I can see who's pissed off, right? And joking aside, from a sort of customer experience standpoint or user experience standpoint, this might be a way for me to find out who's upset, what they're upset about, and see where I can be of service, to see where I can go help people, right? I can also search for emojis based on joy, right? And I can see who's celebrating something, right? So it's just kind of it's one of those things that I refer to in my sort of criteria of like cool little dumb things, right?
That's a category.
Yep, that's a category. Cool little dumb things that it can do. Now, again, as to efficiency, so let's say, here I am, let me go into the threads here. So Shannon's in the general channel talking, she tagged me during my presentation, so rude. I'm kidding. But I can click here right into the general channel if I just want to get the context of the whole channel. So that makes that really easy to do, right? But let's say from here, I want to message Matthew, right? And as I showed you, I can hit Control K and quickly get into Matthew's chat, but I also have / commands in Slack, lots of them. So instead of jumping around, I could, if I know I need to send a message directly to Matthew, I can just type / MSG for message, right? I can do @Parkway. Did you set up my Facebook feed? ? Enter. What it does is it jumps me over to my chat with Matthew and posts the question there. So again, it's efficiency. It's another one of these little things that makes my life a little easier. If I know that that option is there, I don't have to sit there jumping over to the channel to type a message, okay? Another thing I can do that I love is I can set reminders, and I can remind myself about things and I can remind others, right? So let me go back to the general channel. Okay, and I can say /remind @Greg ClickUp to vote for me today at 9 a.m. Enter. Slackbot kicks in and says, I'll remind Greg ClickUp to vote for me at 9 a.m. today. Right, that's really cool. Now I'm being a little silly here, but obviously you can see the real use cases where this can be incredibly powerful.
Yes. You have 3 minutes, just so you know.
Okay, I'm gonna move quickly now. The next thing, and if you want the remind list, you just type / remind list, and it will give you a list of all the things, if you type it correctly, of all the things that you have set reminders for, so you can organize and manage that list. But I can't type today, so it didn't work. There we go. So I can view the completed reminders and so on. Right now, there's only one upcoming. Okay. Most importantly for now, especially since I'm running short on time, 97 and up, we do weekly calls Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I wanted to provide a way for people to easily request topics for those calls. So I create workflows in Slack. So I click this lightning bolt, and I've added this workflow right into the general channel where anybody can come in and click this option, request a call topic. And as soon as they do that, Slackbot kicks in and says, okay, click here. And this link takes them right over to the form that they can fill out to request the call topic. So I can set automated workflows in Slack that make it really easy for people to interact with my Slack workspace, right? Check this out. I'll go back over to my Teams versus Slack channel, and I'll ask, what's the Wi-Fi password? And let's say you're using this in an office space. I've configured Slackbot to come back with the answer to that question. The Wi-Fi password is Cream Teams, right? So I can create automated responses with Slackbot using certain keywords. The keyword here was Wi-Fi password, and of course I created different variations on that to make sure that you know, it would capture whatever way somebody might have typed it, right? Calls. If I want to go have a call with Greg, let's go back to Slack. I can just click this phone icon. I can do a call. I can do screen sharing. In fact, Slack has integrations with a lot of web conferencing apps, BlueJeans, Cisco. I can give you all the list afterwards. It even has an integration with Microsoft Teams calls. But what I really want to show you with the time I have left, which was so cool when I discovered this, is you can have inter-organizational channels. So if I go here into this help finding something, and you can see it's denoted with this little icon, that lets me know it's a shared channel. And when I move my mouse over, you can see it's shared with 97 and up. So I can sort of inter-organizationally communicate with and tag people even from both organizations. So if I type something here and say, hey, this is really awesome, right? And then I'll just Control K over to 97 and up, and I'll Control K over to that help finding something channel. And over here, you'll see that my message shows up in both workspaces in that shared channel, which to me is really awesome. And by the way, this is really easy to set up. And then one last dumb little cool thing, because I'm assuming I'm just about out of time. I love the Google Calendar integration. you'll see that next to my name in the Teams versus Slack channel, there's a little calendar icon. That lets people know if there's a meeting on my calendar, it lets people know I'm in a meeting. So they know when they message me something, I'm busy, they shouldn't expect an immediate response. And it updates automatically based on my Google Calendar. And there's also a bot here that gives me the updates and reminders about what meetings are coming up right here in the workspace. So that's pretty awesome.
And Seth, you are at time.
Done.
My alarm is so nice. It's just like dee, dee, dee.
I gotta tell you, there's some pretty cool things in there. I mean,
I know. Audience, why not in chat? Tell us what your favorite feature was. Just give a little love to Seth and his little tour. I was mind blown on some. I've been using Slack for years, and those are things that I just never have heard of it. Control K. Seth did a great job. All of it. All the cool search options.
Seth is the king of taking shortcuts.
Auto messages. He's the king of taking shortcuts. Ooh. I like it. I may be nice, but I like trash talk.
Good stuff.
All right.
Good stuff.
All right, Matthew. I know you have an equally great presentation. So I am going to put, hold on. Your time had already started. Let me restart and make sure you get a full 20 minutes.
Oh, no, it's okay. We can just go.
As the ref, I am being fair. All right. Are you ready?
I am ready.
The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So the first thing, now I really appreciate and respect everything that Seth showed us. What he really showed us is Slack is an amazing tool for you to hang out and talk to your friends. But what I thought this competition was supposed to be about is actually how we're going to use it in our practice to make things more efficient so our clients have the best experience possible. And I figured one of the best ways I could start off with that is we're inside Teams, and we actually have the ability, because Teams in the Microsoft environment, we can embed a private SharePoint page that can be completely customized for that client. I'm sorry, I don't remember seeing that didn't see that in Slack. Is that possible? I don't think so. So what I can do, I can come in to say some news here. Let's see here. The demise of Slack. He said it would never happen. Turns out he was wrong. August 14th is the day that will go down in history as the greatest nerd battle of our century, right? Apparently, you finally admit that Teams is better, but we'll leave that for now. So now what you might be noticing is as I'm showing this stuff, on the side here, I have my different channels, everything else. Oh, and real quickly, I mean, I might as well just address the fact you can't go through different organizations. Let's go switch over to a whole different community at this point. Now, as my trash truck goes by, we've got all these different teams, but I think, why don't we say hi to a friend of ours real quick through chat? Sarah's here. Hey, Sarah. I can jump in between these organizations, nice, smooth, and efficient. More importantly, at the top, you're going to see there's a little 7 at the very top here. That's because one of my other organizations has activity going on as well. Now, the nice thing about this also is if I add a different channel in this environment on this computer, if I then go over to, say, a second computer, that information is still there as well. I don't have to go and try to find any hidden channels. I mean, within your Slack environment, if I remember correctly, who here among us in Slack have not been surprised by finding out there was another channel you hadn't actually been added to yet because somebody didn't tell you about it, right?
Yep.
Really a big pain in the rear. And I know everybody's heard me talk about this one before, but I know, so Seth, I know you've got an amazing office setup there, but I sometimes have to travel to my office, and then sometimes I have to use my laptop. So it's very frustrating when I'm on multiple devices and I don't have access immediately to what I need in all places. I personally am not a big fan of that. Additionally, why don't we take a look at, well, I mean, I like this personally. I've got my QuickBooks Online company set up with a nice little beautiful Power BI dashboard that can show me exactly what's going on inside my company. So for my clients, now imagine we're doing this specifically for a client engagement. They can jump into this, look at this information being updated consistently, and have a visual representation of what's going on in their company without ever jumping into the company file, which is amazing, right? We also have the ability, of course, we've got all of our files and folder structure nice and clean at the top here. All of our files can go in. You talked about search. There's plenty and plenty of search. Now, I will give you much respect. You are amazing, absolutely amazing with knowing the shortcut stuff. I'm absolutely not at the, like, I don't know those capabilities, but I trust that anybody who's watching this has the ability that we can actually, they can learn those shortcut keys in the organization. So I'm going to just leave that to everybody's imagination, but you can do searching, no problem. Additionally, on the side here, you'll see these different icons. I can pin in different applications right inside of this. So if I want to go to my Lucid chart because I need to work on a workflow design, I can click on the side tab, and this can be made available for others as well. Let's go pull up one of my workflow maps. Oh, this is a fun, exciting one here. Go open. Now, Seth, you remember when we went to this Lucid chart training together, right? We both got certified. It was fun, right? He's ignoring me.
He's giving you your floor.
We got the do full presentation, show how all this stuff works, and I'm still inside my same environment. Come back over here. If I exit out of this, I can come in, and you were talking about doing phone calls. So let's do this. I'm going to actually jump over to my other organization real quick, and let's go. Let's give a phone call real quick.
Good morning. This is Sarah speaking.
Sarah, this is Matthew with Parkway Business Solutions. How are you on this fine morning?
I'm doing just beautifully. How are you?
You're doing great. You know, we're sitting over here. We're just knocking the Slack out of Seth David over here. He seems to think Slack is better than Teams. What's your personal opinion?
Are you asking me why I chose Teams over Slack?
Well, I mean, we know because being on the winning side, right? So
Yeah.
now here's the other cool thing with this real quick. Sarah, I'm pretty sure you're familiar. Like if I come in here and I actually was to start recording the video itself, like recording our meeting, hello. What happens at that point is we have the ability to actually take that recording and it takes it right to Microsoft Streams, which is part of all of this. Right. And it will actually save it, store it where it can be accessed later on with full transcriptions in it. You can add notes and highlights to it. You can comment on it. So when you're dealing with clients and you just had to have this major conversation about why they keep screwing up their undeposited funds, well, now you can refer them back to it as very easily, of course. So
Exactly. I don't think we can record and do all those fun things in Slack.
You know, you might be able to. There's probably some other like integrations. I trust Seth behind it, of course. You know, so now, Sarah, do you have a moment to real quickly work on an Excel sheet with me?
Sure.
Okay.
We have I do this with my clients. I have cash flow and budgets. I have budget committees that come collaborate.
So I'm going to minimize this down. I'm going to come back over to my Teams area. And I've got a workers' comp report coming up pretty quick here that I really need to get done, I'm thinking. So we'll come into my custom widgets and let's go files. I haven't even left anywhere. Still doing everything right inside of this. Once it's opened up, we can see where each other are at. We're actually working on an Excel document inside of Teams. We don't even have to go anywhere. Did they do that in Slack? Can you work on documents live in Slack?
No.
I don't think they can. I could be mistaken about that though. So I tell you what, if you want to jump into this one, again, it's a Huey Community Live area. Once another person jumps in, you're gonna get your little dot at the top so you can both see the fact, like who's working where in what place and as changes are being made. But of course, there are certain limitations to all the functionality you can use Excel. This is more for interaction, like working back and forth. But if you want to take it to the cloud or to a desktop, you can easily pull it down, work on it, and it still syncs right back into your Teams, of course.
Right.
So pretty impressive setup. Now,
yeah, I love it. I love it for budget meetings. We just pull it up and work together. And I can open it in the team.
Mm-hmm.
I can open it in the browser, which is the Excel in the cloud. And I can also open it on my desktop with full-blown Excel.
Yep. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for jumping in today. I appreciate you being on Teams here. And I'm going to jump back over to the other area so
I
I
don't
can
know if I
show.
should yellow card you for that, Matthew, but I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to let it slide. Bringing in a beautiful powerhouse. Oh.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm closing out, okay? You know, Misty, I missed that part
Seth
of
brought
it.
in a beautiful powerhouse too.
So now that we've gone through, we'll come back to a different organization. As you can see, this whole time, I've been going back and forth between different organizations, different features. There are certain features and controls you can set up, of course, within Teams that basically for guest versus non-guest, so forth. So let's come in. Actually, you talked about calendar real quick. Calendar is an easy one. I mean, it's automatically literally built right in. We got phone calls. We already talked about that. We got Zoom from right here as well. I could very easily call somebody from Zoom inside of this also. You can actually now do communities, which I think is a pretty cool functionality. But let's come down here and let's go into this one here. One of the other things that we've started to set up on this, this fake company basically is the ability to have inside of here a wiki page with like company information and standard operating procedures. So as we're working in the scope of what we do for a client kind of varies and changes, this gives us the ability, we can take extra notes, keep them all inside of here, and always know what we have coming next to do.
Nice.
We also have our query sheet, which we actually do for every single client. That gives us the ability, we can, I should say we can pin whatever we want basically up at the top here, of course, right? But the query sheet gives us the ability that we can interact with our client, find out answers to different questions as we need them, and boom, automatically save ourselves a whole bunch of time, which is awesome. Now we've set up separate channels here. On each one of these channels, I can also request a unique email address. So like everybody was very, very excited with HubDoc because you could send all your stuff through email to one certain place. What we've actually done is we've set up channels like this, and we have a couple email rules that you will send certain documents to certain channels, or I forward all of the communications that I have from certain clients coming to me into my email communications tab to make it really easy to keep everything organized. As a reminder, with Parkway, we have a backend support team. So we have our local team, and then we have a backend team that's also in India. And we need this way to keep everything organized, everything flowing, and growing the right direction.
Cool.
Now let's see here. Missy, how am I doing for time?
You're doing pretty good. You're about 8.5 minutes left.
Cool. So some of the other touch points that Seth had talked about, bots and workflows. You can absolutely, at any point in time, if you want to add on a different bot, there is a slew of different bots, applications, everything else we can go into here. You can find different people. You can, I haven't set up a workflow like Seth did, but you could use Microsoft Flow to do those things very nicely. Mm-hmm. As Andy was just talking about, he will use Microsoft Forms to fill in query sheets for clients. I think that's a great idea, Andy. It's a very good idea. You can have documents ready to be signed through all of this. So it's pretty impressive, everything that can be done here. If I go back over to my other organization, and this is the view as a guest, just so you know, I wanted to be able to show you both ways. Mm. The guest, you'll see I don't have the same access to the extra applications because I'm coming in as a guest. Perfect. When I pull this up, we would actually be able to pull the information, but let's actually real quickly go over to my other computer and let's go pull up Stream. So if I come into here, one of my application choices is Microsoft Stream. Stream gives me the ability I can either search or I can basically embed videos is the whole point for this thing. If I want, as I was showing you before, like a live video setup here, when I come in to play this introductory video, this can be set up again on that initial page, which I don't have the audio playing through because it's on a different computer at the moment. But I can also, besides setting these details up, having my different files organized, having search function capability for them, we can also embed other links. So now if I wanted to make it set up very easy to where that you don't go to that page, you can go to like QuickBooks Online, have them go to log in. The point is to keep them all into one single place to be able to access everything that you need.
Nice.
One other benefit of the chat, which I'm glad Andy was just recommending as well. If I want, I can actually come into here. I can pop my chat out. So now if we're doing a live meeting, so forth. Oh, what is this? Matthew Fulton, I eat nerds for breakfast. That's right. I can do a phone call, have chat up, everything else. Hey there again. But I can still keep working, no problem. So if you're familiar with the Microsoft Teams of back in the day, it was horrible. It was really, really horrible. But it has come a long way in a long time. They've improved their communications all the way around. We basically have all of our clients now signing in. You can see the structure of the organization. So the intention today, more than anything else, was to show you how you can get out of just a very basic app for talking to friends into a workflow powerhouse where you can actually run your business as well. So with that, I will leave the extra bit of time for more questions going forward.
Nice work. All right, everybody, why don't we give Matthew some love here on Teams and let him know what you thought the best feature was. And he does have a little extra time, so he's being very generous in bringing you guys in and asking if you have any questions for him. So he has 5 minutes that is still left on his 20-minute timer. Spartacus, crush.
Thank you. I can see the top nerd over there, or formerly top nerd. He's got his
Love
question.
that everything is one place, the transcript of stream videos to make notes. How do you invite a non-team member to Teams?
Very easy. You actually can just send an email. So when you go in, I can share my screen again real quick. Yep. You basically send an email to them and they can be invited as a guest. They don't have to have a Microsoft account. They don't have to have any of that stuff. Everything always does work better when it's part of an organization. So if we're trying to fully integrate everything, full functionality, what we like to do is we actually provide our clients a license from Microsoft because we believe if we give them a full setup at no extra cost, we're talking costs us $8 a month for a client. Right. If they're using their email, their Excel, everything through us, they're a client for life. Yeah. And then they've got full interaction, full integration. We can invite them into everything, but you can be a guest very easily just with an email address.
Love it. And somebody, Andy, asks if you could drop the SharePoint atomic bomb.
Oh my goodness, did I forget about that? The fact you can map your drive. So here's, to me, one of the best parts. I can come up here. This is my entire setup for all of our folders for Parkway. This is my Teams SharePoint drive is completely mapped. Oh, and did I mention we can actually access ShareFile from inside of here as well? So for all of our clients, we can come into Files. Nice. We'll have a folder that says ShareFile for clients to be able to access the information through there. Of course, I can open anything into SharePoint, but I was trying to keep it all somewhat into Teams. So just by clicking on Open SharePoint, now we'll have everything here again. Access to all of our information. I can pop into the top here, see all my different channels beautifully.
Nice.
Full calendar, everything else. This is, look at that. What is that? So again, Seth, you ready to convert, buddy?
And he wants to spend his last minute smack talking.
I need to
Oh, I'm not voting, but if I was, you're trying to win me over. I did say I accept chocolate, though. It's a nice bandana you got.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
You still have 60, no, 58.
It's okay. We'll put it to questions at the end. Well, I want to make sure he's got rebuttal time.
Great.
I'd love for people to be able to ask questions.
Seth David, are you ready for a comeback?
I believe I am. So that was cute, Matthew. Very, very cute demonstration. And I like how you used some rhetoric to try and discredit my argument. But here's where the argument fails, okay? And speaking of getting work done, I'm hoping that most of the people out there watching are intelligent enough, I believe you are, to understand how the things I showed you enable you to do exactly that. Interesting that Matthew didn't show us how to set up that inter-organizational feature in Teams. I'm guessing that's not that easy to set up unless you have some dev skills, because as I showed you, Microsoft themselves doesn't even acknowledge this capability about their own app. Now, Slack does give me the option to auto-add people when I create a channel. This has been coming up a lot in my bulletproof bookkeeping workspace that I use for people who have signed up for the course. So let's say I go here and I create a new channel and I say apps-Slack, right? And then as I can put in a little description, whatever. I can make it private, by the way. When I click create, it lets me know that I can automatically add all 112 members, right? So that makes it easy to make sure if this is a channel I think is important, I can make sure that they all get added. And I do that a lot here, and a lot of times those people opt out. Now let's also talk about the collaboration aspect in terms of documents. I'm going to say go back because I don't actually want to create this. Skip for now. Now let's go back to 97 and up, and let's go to the general channel. Actually, no, let's go to Greg. I'm going to bring up my hottie, okay? /Zoom.
Tagging in your.
Okay, now of course we can't actually join this because we're in my Zoom right now, but you see how in 2 seconds I can create a link to join a Zoom, and as I often say, it's the right tool for the right job, right? So I can be chatting in here while we're in a Zoom, right? So that covers that, okay? And also, speaking of working in documents inside of like the workspace itself, I don't know about you, but I like to have my space to work in. And what was that you said, Matthew, about quote unquote certain limitations? I would much rather be able to take a document like this in Google Sheets, copy the link, flip over here, and drop that link in for Greg. Greg can now click on this document where we'll both be working in it live in real time collaboratively. And if I want to make sure, by the way, that we can access this quickly and easily no matter how far down the thread we go, first let me edit this message to give it a proper title, 97 and up cash flow, right? And I'll just finish that up. And then what I'll do is I will pin this to the conversation, so that anytime we need to, no matter how far down the road we've gone in terms of the thread, it will be here in the details as a pinned item. And if I wanted to, I can click on the actual timestamp of it to get directly back to where the actual message was. So this way, we go in here, and I'm collaborating in real time in Google Sheets. There's Greg. I'm guessing he's the anonymous gopher there right now. Greg, go ahead and type something in the drivers. Start to set up a new driver for me, if you will.
You have me as view only, so I can't.
Oh, well, that's easily fixed. We're going to change this. Or better yet, I'll make sure that you specifically can get in here, Greg.
Sorry.
Only takes a second. Okay, that link was I know the link should have been configured to allow all access, but obviously easily fixed. Wiki pages, I don't know, to me that's a mess. I'd much rather have like organized notes in an app that's actually built for that kind of thing and fleshed out. And also in terms of knowledge bases, I can have Slackbot, as I showed you earlier, configured to really be the knowledge base where you can just query Slackbot and ask questions, and it will come back with the answers and links and anything I need. I can also build out workflows along those lines that will give you buttons you can click on that will take you over to the right document or the right web page. When I have 97 and up people onboarded, they get a Slackbot message just like that that welcomes them, and they have a button to click on that will take them to the orientation page on my website. Excuse me, that will take them also to a link that shows them how to access the call schedule. So Slackbot can be built out, and it's built in. Plus, of course, all you have to do is Google Slack integrations, and you'll have a ton of resources that you can find in terms of apps that integrate directly with Slack. One other thing that I didn't get to show you before that I love about Slack is the
28 seconds.
28 seconds. Yep. Okay. is the ability, hold on, I have 28 seconds and counting.
5.
Never mind,
24,
you know what? I'll rest my
23.
case right there.
And there's so much more.
So,
All right.
Seth, do you have a pin I could borrow? My shirt's a little loose.
You might want to get a better shirt. See, if you use good tools, you'd be able to afford more so you could buy better clothing.
The least number of clicks wins, my friend. The least number of clicks.
I have
I mean,
to
if I need to go
disagree, but
chasing around all over the place, like, come on now. Come on now. We, you know, I know how big of a fan you are of, gosh, what is that application that's, is it ClickUp you like so much? Should we show you how you can integrate ClickUp right into this bad boy too?
you can embed ClickUp in anything.
Yeah, Matthew, you have 5 minutes to do any rebuttal, or there's been a lot of chat that has been giving you ideas to share. So 5 minutes
It
to you.
does help. So we actually, with Parkway, we've been building out quite a bit of ClickUp to be able to use internally. Now, if I come down to the bottom here and let's go ClickUp, it's right at the top here, smart guy. I can search a task. Oh, I'm not signed in. If I was signed in, gonna waste of time. By signing into this, we are actually able to very easily, gosh darn it, not be logged in. We can actually assign tasks very quickly and easily right inside of here. So inside of my payroll solutions, as you can see right here, boom, click view. Again, not signed in, so it probably won't pull it exactly up, but you would see what it looks like here. Now, we did just go out of Teams. I have to be honest with that side, okay? But boom, put our task in. We can even send the comments back over also. But let's take it back. Let's stay in the Teams area. You were talking about like the wiki. If I remember correctly, because you know I've been following you for some time now, right? You like OneNote, don't you? Pretty sure that you like OneNote. You think it's pretty cool. So we could, of course, just go and pull up a OneNote, use that since the wiki is not good enough for you. And that's all embedded, sitting here right on the side, ready to go. So all of this functionality, everything, all right from inside of here. Bottom line, what it comes down to again is a simple, simple thing. That is hiding. The least number of clicks wins.
We should have done that, of like have each of you do the same task and see how many clicks it takes, but next time.
I'm going to give one bit of props. Seth, love you, buddy. Always love doing this stuff with you, man.
Love
it's
you too,
all about
brother.
the nerd way, my friend. Always.
I wanted to throw in one comment that you used literally fake news in your presentation. You had a fake news article about my switching. That never happened, right?
Keep
I can
politics
prove it.
out of this. Keep politics out of this. Don't stoop.
And if I can get something done in less time, even if it takes more clicks, I'm not sure about that argument. I don't know.
All right, guys.
What really counts, the clock or the click? That's going to be my next blog post. The clock or the click?
Ooh, I like
So
that.
what do you guys think?
Let's give everybody the link to cast your votes.
Please note we are not doing mail-in voting, so you will have to click the link. Sorry.
Nice.
I will post the link to the Airtable voting form.
I hope that everybody out of all of this was inspired to at least check out the opposite one that you're currently using, whichever way it may be. Because it's never good enough to pick one app and just stick to it forever. You have to be aware of what's going on at all times. You know, know the best of the tools.
I think the real important thing, honestly, all joking and rhetoric aside, whatever tool you choose, you have to learn how to use it. You have to learn the features. If you learn the features, I will absolutely yield that if you're living in the Microsoft world, you're going to want to use Teams. You're not going to want to use Slack. It makes sense. Teams is clearly built to work within the Microsoft environment, no question. Gene Marks recently put an article out there that I read and loved, where he basically laid this logic out. I think he published it in Forbes, where he said, if you're in Microsoft, you're going to use Teams. If you are using anything else, you're going to want to use Slack. That's the bottom line.
Love it.
Love it. There is the link, so people can go vote
He did.
And just both of you guys, we all respect both of you so much, and the amount of detail and how you guys dive into a product and learn all of those little ways to just make it sing and make it smooth and just optimizing it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for being so gracious with your information and your knowledge, and always bringing your best selves to the table and starting our Friday with a laugh. I so appreciate it. Anybody else can give some rounds and chats and love, and I think we're gonna
Everybody
wait and
just
see
watching
who
real
wins.
quick?
Where's the winner
It's
gonna be
kind of cool.
posted?
I'm watching the votes come in here in Airtable in real time.
Oh,
Oh, somebody didn't include their email address on a Teams vote. I'm going to have to disqualify that vote.
cannot verify
I
that
want full
voter.
access to that. I want to see the sheet right away.
Share it live.
So, share your screen, Seth. And by the way, everybody
I
who's
can't do
here,
that.
if you haven't yet joined
Oh,
our
because it has everybody's
live,
email.
please join our group. We have a forum that we do a live session every Thursday where we answer people's questions live. If you want to learn more about Teams or Slack, you can put questions into our forum and we'll take the time to help answer them for you guys and try to show you as much as we can. So QB Community Live. How's it going, Linda?
Yeah, and joking aside, by the way, I don't want to share the live feed because there's email addresses in here.
Fully respect that.
Good thinking. Good thinking.
Awesome.
Love it, guys. Thank you so much.
Just
And
All right, so
where's
keep the
where's
voting
winner gonna be
alive.
posted? Where's it going to be posted? So we
I'm
all
going
know.
to post it as I do with all of my Zooms in my website, but I'll also upload it to my Facebook page. I'll give Matthew a copy to upload to his.
Yeah.
And then we'll keep the voting going. I don't know. When do you want to close voting, Matthew? You want to give it like a week? Let people watch the recording and cast their votes?
Ooh, tune in next week for the winner
And then
on
next
Friday.
week we can announce the official winner?
How about we do the winner on Thursday
Okay.
on mine?
That seems fair. That seems fair.
All right,
This
but
is
I
your
want
platform.
KPMG to do an independent audit
Of your system?
of your
I'm totally
system.
fine with that. But you're paying for it. Are you telling me you're cheating, Seth? What's up here, buddy?
I'm worried about you. You know, fake news and all. And
Not putting email addresses in. Who is that?
Oh, I love it. So the other question we should ask before everybody's going, what is the next battle that we should do with some fun as Nerdway? What's the next head-to-head that Seth and I should be doing? Give us some ideas. We just might do it.
Well, I've now researched over 93 virtual platforms for events. Anybody wants to help out there?
how about Google Sheets versus Excel Online?
Who?
Google Sheets versus Excel Online.
No.
Why not? Oh, you mean that's no contest?
Matthew, along those lines, when you were opening up in Teams, you were opening up the Excel spreadsheet. Is that the native local full Excel, or is that Excel Online?
It is the actual Excel Online version. You could open it to desktop as well, but I stayed in the Teams version to be respectful of the competition.
So Fran is saying ClickUp versus Trello. Honestly, I think that would be no contest. I mean, when you compare
taking
ClickUp to Trello, I would sooner see ClickUp versus Asana. If I don't know, Matthew, if you know, like, I think we're both in ClickUp though, if anything.
But I like the ideas. I mean, look.
Yeah, no, keep the ideas coming. Definitely.
We're willing to. It's never about our pride to have to win, except for this one. That we'll both take a stinker here or there. That's fine. You can go first, though, Seth.
Just shows your debating skills.
And Misty, I would take on that challenge about the live platforms. I'll take that challenge on with you. You know I'm all about that. I want to.
Oh,
I've been doing a whole bunch of that research.
I have like this thick right now.
The link for our group is in chat as well.
All right.
Yeah, or just go onto Facebook and search QB Community Live. It won't be hard to find.
Excellent, guys.
All right,
Everyone,
thank you so
please
much,
have a
everyone. Misty,
phenomenal
thank you so much
Friday.
for coming out at the last minute and being
Bet.
our referee.
You bet. You bet. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye.